Well, in this week's About Your Retirement, we have a viewer question, and also it'll help me too. So we'll get both of them done.
You bet.
A viewer asked, Jim, our dad's is one of the older Americans that insist on staying in his home alone. We've become very concerned lately because every time we visit him, he seems to always be eating junk food. Do you have any tips to help him or help us?
Well, you know, unfortunately, this is a real problem, and it's estimated that 1 of 8 of older Americans are junk food addicts, for lack of a better phrase, but it is an addiction and an addictive behavior that can occur. I've recently looked at a study by Yale that they did, and they created their food addiction scales that they use to survey groups of people, and specifically older Americans, and they've discovered that 13% of everybody they survey they consider to be junk food addicts. And so, yes, this can be a serious problem, and so let's get into it. Let's talk about junk food addicts. And there's a few things that we want to point out. The first thing is that living alone, and I have said this for years and years, you know, we know that over half of our adult age generation lives at home alone, and that's okay as long as you're taking care of a few important details, and nutrition is one of them. And so mom or dad, you know, sometimes we think, well, mom's always been a good cook, she's eating good and all this, but we may not realize you got to check up on them regularly and see what's in the cabinets and what they're eating, because at some point they'll say, hey, I'm not going to prepare a full complete meal just for myself, and so it's easier to grab a bag of chips and a candy bar and whatever it is, whatever their favorite junk food is, and so they just fill up on that. And so the next thing is intense cravings, and this is one of the most common addictive symptoms, intense cravings. And they found out in the survey, Tevis, that people say, I get these cravings for junk food at least once a week, and it's so intense that I can't think of anything else. And so that's a sign of addictive behavior. And then if we want to talk about food behaviors, you know, this is something that is rooted in our brain chemistry and our heredity. And then it's okay, though, to have counseling. And so some people, you know, these intense cravings and this addictive behavior with junk food, we don't think about that as being an addiction, but you need help sometimes, just like for people that need some help to quit smoking or to quit drinking and other behaviors like that. So check up on mom or dad or both of them and make sure, because it's so easy now that you can just order food delivered to not even know what they're receiving, and they've got to have nutrition.
Yes, absolutely. Jim, thank you for the advice.
You bet.
We'll see you back here next week. And don't forget, you can get more retirement advice from Jim. Visit news9.com/retirement.